Okay, everybody, this is the correction of lesson 2. So, do you remember lesson 2? In that lesson, we tried to understand how watching series can impact our lives and if watching series can bring people together. To do so, you had a first text, which is a newspaper article about a girl called Julie Spira, who said that watching Breaking Bad with her boyfriend was something really beneficial for them because he was convalescing. He had hurt himself. So they watched series together. The first good impact was that it created a lot of memories. They could talk about it. It created good communication. And also it strengthened their relationship, and it was actually a good way for them to be together. Okay, so that was the first text. It gave a positive vision of watching series. Now the second document was another another newspaper article about a girl called Cameron. And actually Cameron, she had a more negative way of watching series because she binge watched. Binge watch means that when she started watching a series, she never stopped and she could spend hours and hours watching television. So it's not clearly said if it's bad or not, but you can imagine, thanks to the cartoon, that this is not a particularly good habit. But the text doesn't say it very, very clearly. And finally, the last document was this poster, where you can see a man, probably in his office because he's wearing a suit, and he seems to be very, very tired. The slogan at the top says that 28% have lost sleep binge watching their favorite shows, which means that because they are binge watching their series, they don't sleep well. And so that was the highest number. They also pointed out that 22% of people admitted to not getting dressed when watching, which means that they stayed in pajamas basically, and that 3% even called in sick. That means they called their job, said they were sick just because they wanted to watch series. So that's really, really bad. So you had 3 different documents which showed you positive and negative aspects of watching series. And your job, people, was to list the pros and cons of watching series. So here is the correction that you're going to have to copy in your notebook. So I listened to our audios and you probably mostly said everything. So I listed that among the pros, watching series is a good way to spend time, to keep busy when you are alone or confined to bed, for example, when you're sick or in quarantine. It's a good way not to get bored. It's also a good way to connect people, like in the story of Julie, because you can talk about it and share your impressions. It's a good way to strengthen relationships. And someone said that it was also a good way to learn another language if you watch them in original version and to develop imagination. On the other hand, it can also have negative impacts because you can become addicted or hooked to your series. You can be glued to your screen. You can start watching all the episodes in one day. That's to binge watch. And you can go to bed late, take bad sleeping habits, so you are tired and you can have headaches, okay? Okay, so now that you know all this vocabulary, I'd like you to do task 2. Here it is, have a look. In task 2, you are going to take part, or we are going to pretend that you are taking part in a study about French teenagers' habits with series or movies. And I want you to record a 2-minute testimony on WhatsApp to explain how often, how long, and how late you watch series. So first, since it's a study, I want you to give your name and your age, to say if you have brothers or sisters, give their age and say if they watch series with you. I want to know when, on what days, at what time you watch series. I want you to explain how often you watch series, how long you watch series, or how many episodes you watch in one day, and explain how late you watch series. That means until what time. I also want you to explain what watching TV brings you and say if it has negative impact on your life. You can use the vocabulary of lesson 2. I absolutely want you to use adverbs of frequency, like always, usually, often, sometimes, occasionally, rarely, or never. And I promise I will not tell your parents. Okay?